Well, hello and welcome to this week's Brand Breakthrough Show. What a week it has been. I'm so excited about all the things that are happening for you and for us here at head office at the Brand Builders Club. And this week I want to focus on 5 of the key questions that I really wish I'd known the answers to before I went into business, because these things, they can come and they can trip you up. And if you, like me, are somebody who wants to make sure you get it right first time, you don't want to have to go through all the pain, all the trouble, the expense of having to find out the hard way what not to do, then I'm hoping that this next 30 minutes or so with you is going to save you a lot of pain and a lot of heartache, because I've definitely been through those things. And for those of you that have been through the Brand Builders Blueprint, that's like an advanced level of what we're going to talk about today. And if you don't know about the Brand Builders Blueprint, definitely ask me about it, because it's a 3-hour masterclass I delivered last year that's all on how I went through some really painful challenges when I built 7 of the companies that I've built. I had some major disasters, nightmares, things that I would never want you to go through. So there's a workbook, and you literally work through workbook at the same time as watching the video that I've created for you, and you go through and you work through it so it never happened to you. So that's an advanced thing of what we're doing today. Today I'm going to cover 5 things that are totally different from the things that are on the Brand Builders Blueprint. And if you've got any other questions as we go through today's Brand Breakthrough Show, then of course just ask in the comments below, and I will answer them as best I can today, or create you another whole show around that. Hi Lubna, nice to see you. So out of these 5 things, I'll give you an overview of what they are, and then I'll go into them in greater depth. Hi Hirta, I'll go into greater depth for you. So the first one is, should I focus on my brand or my branding? That was one big question. I wish, like looking back in hindsight now, that is a question that I wish that I'd have known the answer to, because my first business, I really didn't have a clue. And I'll share some stuff about that and the what happened as a result of me not following the process that I teach now, having learned the hard way. The second thing I'm going to cover today, hello, hi Hita. The second thing I'm going to cover today is, should I continue to work whilst I set up my business? That's another thing that I wish that I'd have known. Kevin, hello. And by the way, guys and girls, those of you that are watching, obviously if you're on the replay, it'd be great if you could do this as well. If you know other business owners that you think, oh God, like they should know, should you focus on your brand or branding first? Should you continue to work whilst you're setting up your business? Should I do this alone or with a business partner? How should I divide my time so that I'm getting everything done? And how do I learn to say no? If that is something that you think the people that you know, either in other groups that you're in, or clients of yours, or even friends or colleagues, people you've met through networking, if you think that this would be really valuable for them to know the answers to this as well, please, when I either tag them in now, or share the video into your group, or into some other space where you are, that they can get access to it. Because seriously, just the answer to these 5 questions could have really saved me a lot of hassle. And maybe they can save you and them hassle too. So let's get that word out there as much as we can. So the first thing, should I focus on my brand or my branding first? So here's what I did. Here's the big mistake that I made. I was made redundant. When I set up my very first business, I'd been made redundant, which for those of you in the States, you don't use that terminology. So basically the business had gone under and they had to let everybody go. And so there I am, it's coming up to Christmas, and I get let go. So I have no job and no money to buy Christmas presents or anything. I was waiting for my wage, back then, living from paycheck to paycheck. Hi, Greg. So, it was a big deal. It was a really big deal. That's what I was going to buy my Christmas presents with. And that had happened the following Christmas as well. And so typically in the industry that I was in at the time, I was a graphic designer way back then. Typically back then, I was very much, because I was in the it was mainly in the hospitality sector. Hi Sanal. In the hospitality sector that I used to do a lot of design work. So typically what would happen is they'd be hugely busy from Easter right the way through to Christmas, but between Christmas and Easter they would let people go. And, because they couldn't afford. What was the point of them keeping a ton of staff on for 3 months when they knew that, they could actually let them go and then bring other people back on again. And that happened to me 2 years in a row. And so I could see the warning signs. I could see what was coming. And I just thought, I've got to get out because, now I can see the signs of a failing business. I can see it from a mile off, having learned from watching what had gone on with these two businesses. I thought, that's it. I'm taking control of my own money. No one's going to, because they'd gone under. So it wasn't like we were going to get any money either. And I just thought, my God, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, the only thing I can do is take control of this. I'm going to set up my own business. And if I haven't got money, then it's my fault. If I don't do what I'm meant to do, then at least that's my problem. But if somebody else has got control of my money or my role or my confidence and my sanity, then that's not good. It's not doing me any good. And I'd really taken a knock the first time, and so I'm not going through this again. And so on the 5th of December 2002, I'm laying there in bed thinking, oh my God, I'm now setting up my own company. What the hell am I going to call it? What's my logo going to look like? And I just went straight into branding. I went straight into what's the branding going to look like? I need a website. I need my business card. I need all these things, right? And I went straight for the look and feel of the business. And I remember it was maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm wide awake. I'm like, what am I going to call my business? And I thought, Velocity North Creative. Hi, Joe. Velocity North Creative. That's what it'll be. And basically the building that I was living in the apartments in the centre of Leeds at the time, they were called Velocity North. So there was Velocity North, South, East and West, and I was in North. And I thought, sod it, I'll just call it Velocity North. I'll call it something else later. So I set up my company literally within a couple of days. I designed a fancy logo. I got all of the things, did the same things. And I didn't realise it was that same amount of time for you as well, Libna. So there I am. So I create within a couple of days. I create the most amazing branding. I create a business card to die for. I create, a nice little landing page for my website. Back then we didn't have things like WordPress and all the great technology. It might have been just coming onto the scene, but I didn't know about it back then. And so anyway, created all these fancy things. And within 3 months, I had to change everything. Hi, Christine. I had to change everything because as I started to serve people, and they would then recommend me to someone else, and they'd say, can you do this? And I'd say, yeah, I can do that. So I started doing other things. So I wasn't just creating branding. I was creating brochures, and then I was creating website design to give to a designer. Hi, Alicia. And then I was creating all these other different areas of design that I hadn't thought about when I designed my logo and my branding at the very beginning. And so it cost me a lot of money to then undo that, because within 3 months my business had increased. So how I'd branded the business was literally in the mindset of how I was thinking when I started that business. So I wasn't thinking in the future. I wasn't stepping into the future. I wasn't thinking about the reputation. I wasn't thinking about what it to stand for. I wasn't thinking about what the values were behind it. I wasn't thinking about anything other than what does this need to look like. And it's so good to see you, Alicia. So I made that really big mistake very early on, and I would never ever go for branding before brand ever again. And even as a branding and marketing agency, when I built my agency, which I sold in 2013, even when I built that, I was still more focused on how do you build the brand first and then create the branding that represents the brand that's underneath it, because it's like the cherry on top, right? The branding is the thing that you see and you go, ooh, and that gives you, hopefully a really good emotion around that. Or you might see the branding of a company or a product and you've had a bad experience with that, and you're going to have a type feeling and emotion whenever you see that. So it's really, really important to focus on the brand first. So that would be like, if I needed to know, do I focus on brand or do I focus on branding first? I would absolutely say brand 100% of the time. because it is going to change. Your business is going to change, and it's going to expand, and you're going to get asked certain questions, and you'll go down a route, and then it might change and it might go here. So I just it doesn't have to take you long to go through that process either. The 7-step brand Kickstarter is the process to go through, no matter whether you're starting your business or you're reevaluating. Maybe you at some point you might get to a stage where you think, do you know what, I need to reevaluate, I need to recalibrate. Am I still going in the same direction? Does the brand that I created and the branding that I created however long ago, does that still represent me as I am now? Does that still represent me in a way that I want it to? Does it say everything about me in a way that I've evolved now, and in a way that the business has evolved? So I do recommend you go through that 7-step brand Kickstarter process. Guys and girls, you will be very happy to know that today I have finished turning because we had like a worksheet and I wasn't really happy with the worksheet for the 7-step brand Kickstarter. So today I've literally output the PDF for the 7-step brand Kickstarter book. So you've got access now, for those of you in the Brand Builders Club, you've got access to the 7-step brand Kickstarter book. So you'll be able to go through it and work through. You can print it out, you can cross it off. We will be turning it into an actual book as well. So just bear with us. In the meantime, you will have access to the PDF of that. But I'm really pleased with it. And actually, just as you'll find, when you create videos and get them transcribed, when you get them onto your machine, you start looking at them, you think, well, I need to change this and change that. So I would say that probably 70%, if not more, of the document that was the original transcription for the 7-step brand Kickstarter is now different. Because the Kickstarter has evolved. I've had, hundreds of people have gone through the Kickstarter. I've had feedback. I know where people are getting stuck. So I've added screenshots. I've put all kinds of stuff into this Kickstarter book, and so you're going to get access to it. So Brand Builders, watch out in the Brand Builders Club. I will be posting that in the Brand Builders Club later today, and also I'll get the team to put it into the 7-step brand Kickstarter program as well. So you'll be able to download it from there if you ever lose it. And the other thing that we're going to do for all of our new members, people that are coming into the Brand Builders Club program, we're going to physically, like I said, we're going to physically have the 7-step brand Kickstarter book printed, and so we'll be able to give a physical copy. So all of you brand builders, you will be getting yours when you come to the next event. We'll hopefully have them published and printed for you, ready for then. But watch this space and kick my butt to make sure that you get one. Hi, Carrie. So yeah, I'm very excited that the Kickstarter book is now ready. Look out for that. So that's what I would say, is just go through that, and don't just go through the 7-step brand Kickstarter once. Go through it, like I say, maybe every 6 months. Just reevaluate, just check in, because you've already done it. So then you'll be able to just look at what you've already posted. Does this still fit? Does it still resonate with me? Butt kicking noted. I know that you've got like a Sammy Blindell imprint on the bottom of your shoe. and I totally give you permission to do that as well. So yeah, it's just, making sure that you go through that process anytime you're launching a new product, a new service, anything that's coming up. But just reevaluate, just sense check, recalibrate where you're at. There might be 1 or 2 words that you want to change in 6 months from now, because your message might have evolved. You will definitely have evolved. So it's up to you to make sure you've still got that brand building power. And here's the thing, when you start marketing yourself, other people are going to start to take notice, and you might find that they start to adapt their language a little bit more to yours. So again, just looking at yours and saying, well, how, if other people have started to now model this, what do I need to do? Where am I now? What position am I now in that I wasn't in then? And I think that's a really key thing. So that would be the first question that I'd really, really want to know the answer to if I were to start my business all over again. The second thing is, should I continue to work while setting up my business? That's a really key one. And actually, I've had a number of people just over the last couple of weeks who have been getting a bit stressed because they've like given everything up or made redundant or decided to create a new business, and now they've got nothing coming in and they're working like the crazies on this new business, but stressed because the money isn't coming in fast enough to support the new business. So here's what I would say is if you feel like that you need to get a job or a part-time, I wouldn't say get a full-time job, but if you feel like you need to get a part-time job because that would give you peace of mind and it would take some pressure away, then I would say do it. But here's why I would say get a part-time job instead of having another business stream. Like, don't go and create another business or another product that is competing for your time with the thing that you need to be doing. With a part-time job, you can go into that job, you can be mindless with it to an extent. It's not competing with your business, it's not competing with your thought power. And like for example, when I first started that first business I was talking about, Velocity North, I was temping at the same time. Now, and I'll talk a little bit about why that isn't necessary. Like, okay, there's pros and cons to this, all right? So I was temping at the same time. So because I was temping, it meant that I was going to lots of different places. And I ended up in, and I have to say, I ended up in an absolutely cushy job. I ended up working for the Environment Agency as an admin assistant, and they had hardly anything for me to do. So I must have been in there working there for about 3 months, and it'd literally be, can you go and get this photocopied? Can you just go through these emails and do this, right? And so I was just doing these kind of mindless things, you know. And there was a situation once though, I have to say, where I was at the photocopier. And so I'm getting these copies done, and one of the other workers came in who thought they were the mutts nuts, shall we say, and he comes in and he treated me like dirt, right? Because I was just a photocopier girl, and I just smiled at him, thinking, you know what? I'm building a multi-million pound business and you are an asshole and you're always going to be in this job because you have nothing else. So I'm going to smile from the inside out and be completely grateful for the fact that you've just been a mirror to show me what I've got to look forward to outside of this. Because I could have totally just, you know, my self-confidence could have just been crushed from the way this guy was treating me. Anyway, side note. So that worked really well because it was a regular thing. I knew what I was doing. I was going, it was mindless. I could just get on with it. And the beautiful thing was I had so much time because they hardly had anything for me to do. I had so much time where I'd be checking in my social media. I even, they had a bloody franking machine there. So I was even sending my post through their franking machine because the guy said it was okay to do so. I mean, it was just, I know that not every job is set up in that way, but the universe was absolutely smiling on me. Hi, Jude. The universe was really smiling on me because I set up my business at the same time as having that income coming in. So I would just say, you know, don't feel like you're a failure because you're taking something else on. I would just say to you that if you are thinking of taking something else that's small on, if you're going to do that, take on something that's mindless, that doesn't compete for your mind share, doesn't compete for your brain, because you need your brain to be innovative, creative, and strategic when you're working on your business. You don't want to exhaust yourself in another job so much that you're too tired to be able to focus on that. So that's what I would say. You know, that peace of mind, it's worth a lot. It's worth a lot. And if you've got peace of mind and you know you're just doing 2 or 3 hours a day on something else and it's not taking you away from your business, then, you know, I would say go for it. I would say do it and feel that success that you made a key decision that has supported you to move forward. Don't feel like it's a failure. Feel like you've made a successful decision and there's an exit strategy for it. So it might be 3 months, it might be 6 months. It's just a stopgap. But if that's what would make you feel better, then do it. Here's why I would do it as a job instead of as another business or working in someone else's business if you're the kind of person that's kind of like a bit of an addictive personality. So when you see that things aren't going right, you just want to help them, you want to fix it. No, that's like a time out. You're taking on a mindless thing. Okay, you got it? Give me thumbs up if you're right. Mindless. It has to be mindless. It has to be something that you're not emotionally connected to, you don't want to get involved with, and you just literally go in, do what you need to do, and you get back out again. All right? Brilliant, thank you. Now, I had a really, really good piece of advice, though, that I would like to add as a caveat to that. I had a really good piece of advice whilst I was doing this, and it was my friend Gareth, who had he had a really busy like marketing and advertising company and a print company, and I remember Gareth saying to me, Sammy, just be careful, because here's the thing. He said, you are going to give your business cards out. You're going to be promoting yourself. Your phone number, your contact details, they're going to be out everywhere, and people are going to start calling you. And when they call you and you don't pick up the phone, they're going to pick up the phone to the next person. So, you know, if they are calling you, they're calling you for a reason, and maybe it's because they are ready to get going. Hi, Selena. They're ready to get going. They want to get shizazzle done. They're ready, and then they don't even get an answer from you, or your answer machine isn't, or your voicemail answer machine. God, that is literally what it was back then. Your voicemail, it's not good, right? It's not branded. It's not in keeping with your business. They're just going to go somewhere else. And so I thought, okay, so what's my next best option? So what I did was I invested in a virtual call answering service. So they answered as my business. They answered as me. I think back in those days, the good old days, that was about £75 a month. But they did my phone and they did my email as well. So if anybody emailed me, they responded and would say, thank you so much. I'm just about to go into a meeting, but I will respond as soon as I come back. Have a great day, right? So they'd respond as me if they picked up the phone. Hello, this is Velocity North Creative. How can I help? So they used my message. It was my voice. It was the culture of the business, but I was just paying for them to answer the phone. And that, again, was peace of mind for me, because I knew that phone calls were being dealt with, and what they would do is they would take a message, they'd email it to me, and then when I came out of my meeting or whatever, or when I finished work, I'd come out and then I'd immediately respond to the emails or pick up the phone and call the people back. So that was a really great way. It took so much pressure off. And actually, what I didn't realize was it would give my business a professional edge, and it would make my business look bigger than it was, because it was literally me working part-time in this job and setting my business up. So, having that kind of service can really add a sheen to your brand, especially if it's only you in the business and you're going to be speaking in places. You're going to be, working on customers. You're going to be doing stuff that's going to take you away from being fully present all of the time for call handling and email. So I just, if you haven't thought about that yet, maybe that's something to think about putting in place, especially if you're a solopreneur and or even if there's 2 or 3 of you in the company, but no one has got that specific role of picking up the phone or, answering emails and stuff. It might be worth taking that virtual assistant on to be able to do that for you. Number 3, should I do this alone or with a business partner? Oh my goodness me, I wish I'd have known the answer to that when I first started. Here would be my advice now is I would maintain and keep, hi Alex, I would keep 100% of your business, and I would give a profit share to a business partner. If you're ever thinking of going into business with a business partner, I rarely see it work well. And I've been in business with about 5 different people now, and I've pretty much always been disappointed, because my expectations are so high. My expectations for myself are high. My expectations for anyone that works around me are high. And when I've been in business with other people and they don't, I I suppose, we've said what our expectations are, and then they're not working as hard, or they're not putting the same amount into it, or they don't care about it in the same way that you do, or, they're moaning, and it brings you down. And there's this kind of energy suction that happens when you start to feel, this isn't right, and then that becomes resentment, and that becomes something bigger and becomes something bigger. And I actually closed one of my companies down as a result of that happening. So back in about, I think that was around 2011, I decided there was a business. So somebody had come to me and said, like, you've got all the marketing and branding skills, I've got the business. It was in it was in a field that I didn't even know anything about. It was like HR and recruitment, right? And I didn't know anything about it, but I really loved the person who had brought the idea to me and said, you've got all these skills, I'll actually deliver the business. Why don't we partner up, and you do all of that stuff, you drive people to it, and then I'll answer the phone, and I'll do the rest of it. So we'll do that. Well, I spent months and months, maybe 8 months, nearly 9 months. I'd done all the branding, I'd come up with the whole strategy, I was marketing the business, I was doing all of that. He wasn't picking up the phone, so we were losing leads constantly. He wasn't delivering on his promises, and I thought, whoa, hang on a minute. And if any of you have been through the signature brand system, the 5-step brand strategy, in fact, I'm talking about it tonight on the Netherlands Thinkubator that I'm delivering online tonight. And if you're in London tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about this strategy tomorrow live in London. So if you're going to be down there, or if you know someone in London who's a business owner who would really love to get unstuck from their business and start moving forward, start accelerating, I'm delivering a 3-hour accelerated mentoring session, including this learning point. So I'm doing 45 minutes of training on this specific thing, just on its own. So please share the Thinkubator out with other people you know. It's at the where are we going to be? We're going to be at the Holiday Inn, High Street, Kensington tomorrow. Registration is 6:15 p.m. and we'll be finished around 9:30. So there's a 45-minute training session followed by a 2-hour masterminding session to help you. And every person that comes along has a totally different problem, pain, challenge, or idea that they want to thrash out, and every single person goes home with feedback, with a whole stack of feedback. So really, really important if you know someone that could do that. But this is the topic that I'm going to be focusing on the Thinkubators for this month. And by the way, if you can't get to the physical one, because we delivered the one in Manchester last week. If you can't get to a physical one, we always have an online version. So this Friday morning, hi Daniel. So this Friday morning at 9 a.m. UK time, and going live again at 7 p.m. UK time this Friday, I'm delivering the Thinkubator. So if you want a free ticket, just let me know, and I'll send you the link so that you can go on there. In fact, you might be able to do it yourself if you go to www.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. Maybe Lubna, maybe you could type that in, or Selena. www.brandbuilders.club/Thinkubator. When you get to the checkout, type in friend. So type friend as the kind of code thing when you get to the checkout, and you'll get your place for free. So go and register for that. If you can't make it tonight or tomorrow night, because I know there's one in Atlanta tonight, we're all over the world, then hopefully I'll see you on Friday. Thank you, Lubna. It's really critical. So, delivering on your promise is just like the mecca of building a brand. And he wasn't delivering on his. And so in the end, I just said, I can't do this anymore. And so I stopped working with him, and I closed that business down, because it wasn't doing me any good having that renting a space in my head. So, and of course, many of you might have met my business partner that I built 6 companies with, nearly 7. I loved the business more than he did. And that was just constantly frustrating. And so to have that kind of, it was almost like have you seen Harry Potter? Give me a thumbs up if you've seen Harry Potter and you know what a Dementor is. It's like, I will suck your soul. And that's what it was like working with somebody who didn't care about the business or didn't want to put in as much as I did. So having a business partner rarely works, to be honest. So the way that and the only way that I will work now is, look, this is my idea, it's my intellectual property. By all means, come on board as a business partner. I keep 100% of my company, but I will give you X amount profit share. And that's really important, because that means that they're not taking out, like, if you can't take anything out of the business because you're putting everything into it. And so why should somebody else come waltzing in and not be putting in the hours that you're doing, and, you know, putting in a fraction of the time and then walking away with money, right? Or more money than you. So I would say make it a profit share, so that they are only earning money on the profit, not the whole business, not on everything that you sell. How should I divide my time so I'm getting everything done? We talked about this on one of the mastermind calls last week. I would just suggest that you do what I do. In fact, I said it on Lubna's call yesterday as well. Any time that I don't follow this process, I always end up just getting pulled here, there, and everywhere. So every morning before I start, and it's so important, it's before anything starts, before the phone gets going, before you've done your yoga, before you've done anything else that could be a distraction, just sit down and be intentional about your day. So write your day as if you've already completed it. So I'll write, it's Tuesday the 23rd of July 2019, and I'm so happy and grateful that today has been an incredibly productive day, and here's why. I achieved this, I increased that, I reduced this, I saved that, I enhanced this, I built that. Use really positive words so that you are acting as if that day has already happened. And you might put a little thing at the end, talking about, and I feel amazing because I'm getting shit done in a way that I've never been able to before. So the 5 things, and I usually will do 5, maybe 6. The 5 things that I write down are things that I know are pressing. They're the most urgent things that need to be done. And so I can, really get going and focus properly on what I'm doing. So that's really key, all right? And then the final thing is, how do I learn to say no? You just got to flex that muscle where it's like, hello, I'm flexing that muscle. Lubna, if you could just let the Think Your Beta guys know that I'm just wrapping up on the Brand Breakthrough show, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Just here's my question that I want you to ask. How do I make the boat go faster? Is this going to make the boat go faster? So if somebody asks you to do something, is this going to make the boat go faster? Really get focused on your vision. If it's not going to make the boat go faster, then you say no. If it's going to make you overwhelmed, you say no. If it's going to put you in a financial position that, it's like if it's going to put you in a financial position where you think, actually, do you know what? That's going to force me to work harder and I know that I need this, then do it. If it's going to put you in a financial position that's negative for you, don't do it. And I would say, if it lights you up, if it fills you with joy, say yes. If it doesn't fill you with joy, say no. And that would just, like, really simple criteria. You don't have to get complicated about this at all. Anyway, those are my 5 things. Maybe you could share in the comments here, what are the 5 things that you would have wanted to know when you first started your business? What would you recommend to other business owners and entrepreneurs that are just starting their business now? What would you say? How would you tell them to go about doing that? What feedback or advice would you give yourself now if you were doing it all over again? So take care, enjoy, have fun, be happy, enjoy this amazing sunshine if you're getting the same kind of weather that we are right now. And I will see you this time next week for the next Brand Breakthrough show. Lots of love. See you soon. Mwah.